Well, welcome back to the podcast, Conversations with Jeff Bucknam. Dr. Jeff Bucknam is the lead pastor of teaching and vision at Harvest Bible Chapel in Chicagoland. I am your co-host, Tommy Creutz, and we are on season number 9.
We're just making them up at this point.
11, 9.
It doesn't matter.
There's a number that's behind the word seasons, and it's more than 2. So this is where we're at, and welcome. If you're joining us, I actually, Jeff, about 2 weeks ago, was talking to someone in our church, and they're like, you know what? I just started listening to the podcast, and they were loving it.
A late adopter. I love it.
Yeah. They're in, and they're super happy about listening. So shout out to you. You know who you are, because we talked about it like 2 weeks ago.
Because you're the one person who's joined this thing.
Singular person. We saw you too. You bleeped up on our radar. Yeah, that's really great. So for the people who maybe just be tuning in, you never know. People are jumping in all the time. We do this thing in the beginning of the conversation because we are going to have a conversation with someone because we believe that everyone has a story. But before we get into that conversation, we have a conversation with just you and me.
Yeah, man.
And we talk about whatever we want. A little pre-ramble, and usually it's the hard-hitting cultural
news of the day.
Like we want to say what we want to say about these things in the world. Yeah. So many things. It's been a couple of months since our last podcast.
Yeah, a lot has happened.
Yeah, the whole Christmas season, holidays, right? And so lots of things happening.
And apparently we have figured out how to do zero gravity. Not you and I.
Not you, for sure not us.
But apparently some guy who he wrote an email before he blew up in his Cybertruck in front of the Trump building, and he said to everyone, I know we've been able to figure out how to do zero gravity propulsion.
Yeah, graviton.
And now he's gone. So everyone's either saying he's a nutball, or he was right and he was being chased down.
Here we go.
So a little bit conspiracy theory, but Tommy and I, we're going to leave that conspiracy theory alone.
Yeah, we're not going to dive into that.
We are instead going to dive into what we would do if we had said gravitron.
Technology, right?
Tommy, if you had zero gravity. So here's the thing. As soon as I heard this, all I could think of was the Incredibles guy, the bad guy on the Incredibles. Do you know who I'm talking about?
The guy with the really big red hair? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. What's his name?
And he could point Mr. Sinister? His fingers, and he had a zero gravity ray, and he could just move people around.
True.
That is what I would do.
You would become a bad guy.
No, not a bad guy. Just want to be able to do zero gravity.
Well, he was if I remember that correctly,
pick people up and move them around.
He was a bad guy who wanted to be perceived as a good guy. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole storyline of that?
Yeah, he saved the best stuff for himself. Which, by the way, I got a question.
Syndrome was his name.
Syndrome.
Yeah.
And how is he any different than Batman?
Syndrome?
Yeah, he's the same guy. Here you got a guy who's got this really bad childhood.
Yeah.
Who decided that he was going to use his smarts and money to basically take over a whole area and then develop like weaponry.
Yeah, and
that only he has.
Yeah, and implement his
justice how he wanted it to be.
Yeah, probably the key difference is one is a bat and one wasn't.
I
don't
understand. Is Batman a good guy?
He's yeah. He's got principles. Batman's got principles.
Do you know, I stopped watching the Batman movies largely because I decided that I got sick and tired of watching movies about a guy just getting beat up the whole time. He doesn't matter. He always gets beat up.
The Christopher Nolan
That's the story of Batman.
Yeah.
He just gets beat up, and then at the last second, he shoots his little bat thing, and it circles back and bonks the guy in the head, and so lucky Batman.
Yeah, so you're talking about the old Batman.
They did a Batman versus Superman thing too, which I did not see. Did you see that?
With Batfleck?
I don't know.
Affleck playing Batman?
Yeah, I don't know.
I did see that. Martha.
That's not even close.
Martha.
If Batman and Superman were having a fight, that's not even close to being a fight.
Well, you know the whole comic thing, right? What Batman has a contingency for every one of the people in the Justice League in case they go bad.
Really?
He's got one for Superman.
Oh, yeah. It's a kryptonite.
It's got to do with a lot of kryptonite, yeah.
Okay.
Totally, yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry.
You're a big you're not into the DC comic stuff though.
I like all comics. Yeah, I like it all.
Have
Marvel,
you seen
DC.
all of the movies? All of these movies?
All the Batman movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the
DCEU?
Wait, what is that?
So the DC Extended Universe, right? Is that what the DCEU? It's like the new, Marvel did their cinematic universe. DC kind of tried to do that themselves with like.
And you've followed all of those.
Well, yeah. I mean, but they were bad.
Were they?
I mean, the DC ones.
What is the best of those films?
Well, the Christopher Nolan Batman,
I think
are the top.
Okay.
Maybe of any superhero movie. Those might be the best.
Oh my god! No.
The Christopher Nolan ones?
No, I think the Iron Man one's pretty great.
Those are, I would say, second in my mind.
So if you were going to recommend, let's take those ones off the table.
Yeah.
What other ones would you recommend to somebody? If somebody's like they're gonna migrate from the Marvel world,
man,
and they're like I gotta try one of these DC, because this is actually what I want to do.
Okay. So I'm going
to try one of these DC movies.
Yep.
What one would you recommend? Because I think I saw Aquaman and it was terrible.
Yeah.
But what would I watch?
The first Superman with Henry Cavill, I think, is quite all right.
Okay.
It's nothing.
What's it called? Just Superman?
Man of Steel.
Okay.
I actually don't know what it's called. It's the one with Henry Cavill, Superman.
All right.
Where he fights Kryptonians who come.
Oh yeah.
It's
those
Kryptonians.
All about them.
That was bad. General Zod, I think, is the.
Isn't he the guy who was in? But isn't that the one where he's in a mirror, and that was in the 70s, wasn't it?
No, this one's the new one.
Oh, okay, new one. Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
And nothing after that though.
I mean, again, it's not great. The Justice League was pretty tough to watch.
Why?
I don't know. Just the pacing of it was super fast, and here's the thing about me though, is I'm not a good movie critic. I'm easily pleased.
I have listened to your extended critique of the Star Wars films.
Okay, that's different. That's different.
I beg to differ that you are Tommy can go on for about 45 minutes about why he thinks the Star Wars films,
not all of them,
the newest ones are terrible, and how frustrated he gets. He actually starts to sweat about halfway through.
Not terrible.
No, you did not like them.
Frustrating, certainly. Terrible.
Yeah, but you have a lot of opinions about those, but you don't have the hot sports opinions about the others.
So I'm not as invested in the DC universe as I am in Star Wars. I'm quite invested in Star Wars. I would say that it is a passion. Star Wars is a passion. I also like lore.
What words come to mind when I ask you what has Disney done to the Star Wars universe?
Yeah.
What words? Go.
Oh, man, goodness. What is like? I mean, like, what do words like obliterate mean? You know, what do words like?
You don't think that do they have the ability to make it good now?
Sure, of course they do. They have so much money and so much creative talent.
Okay,
get it out of the wrong people's hands.
What is on the horizon for the Star Wars world?
Well, I'm not confident in anything.
But you follow the news. I want to know.
I don't know. I actually don't. No, I can't do it. It hurts my heart, Jeff. My heart.
Do you watch any of the like the Hey Disney Plus little?
Yeah, I watch
shows?
I watched the Obi-Wan one.
They're okay.
Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. They could be so much better.
Okay.
Yeah. Focus on
Skeleton Crew.
I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that. Yeah, Wesley's saying it's good. I trust him.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Like Obi-Wan, for example. There's a whole series on Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Right? So you would think, like, oh, this is going to be an amazing series that's, like, all about Obi-Wan.
But it's not.
Just watch it.
Well, I think I watched the first.
You tell me who the main character in that.
I think I watched the first two. Who is the main character? Why are you looking around? Just like you're looking around in the room
I'm
for like support from all these.
I'm getting confirmation. There's a bad guy character who's like, I don't know why they have so much screen time and like why it's the weirdest thing. Like we want to see Obi-Wan.
Okay, what would the story? Like, what would you do if I gave? Seriously, I got a lot of money. So I'm gonna take my money.
Yeah, you're gonna take your money,
and I'm gonna go and spend it on the Star Wars.
You're gonna make a new movie. Yeah.
No, not gonna make a movie.
The whole thing.
I'm gonna buy the rights to it.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna come to you and we're gonna make a movie.
Great.
Tommy, what is our movie about?
Yeah, our movie is going to be about the Old Republic, 100%. We're going back in time.
Okay. Before when?
Before, thousands of years back. From A New Hope.
New Hope is what?
We're talking about the beginning of the Republic, the Jedi and the Sith.
Okay.
We're going to tell those stories because those stories are awesome.
All right.
Amazing.
So how they came to be.
How they came to be. How did the Jedi and the Sith? You know what I mean?
Okay. And how did they come to be?
How did they? Yeah.
No.
What happened? Who was the first Force user? You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to know about that? I do. I want to talk about that.
All right.
Or we go the other direction.
Yeah.
And we tell a whole new story.
Okay. Would you be open?
Yep.
Now hear me out.
I'm all ears.
Would you be open to doing an entire story about the Gungans?
Yes.
Would you like
Totally,
the origin of Jar Jar and his mom Mar Jar?
Yeah, we need to know
his mom Mar Jar and his dad
Bar Jar.
And how Jar Jar would, even if he was the hero of the story.
Totally.
And how he saved his little brother and all the little community down there.
100%.
And actually, what if he were the first? What if he were the Sith? We should make him a Sith.
Have you seen that conspiracy
No,
theory?
I have not.
Okay, so you have to go online, and I'm going to send it to you. There's a whole conspiracy theory about how Jar Jar Binks is a Dark Lord of the Sith throughout episodes 1 through 3. And they it's a YouTube video.
Okay.
And they show while other people are talking, Jar Jar's moving his mouth and mouthing the words that they're saying.
Really?
Like he's controlling them.
Oh, so he's playing stupid, but he actually is brilliant and powerful.
Guy, yeah. So
this would be a great movie.
Yep. Let's make that movie.
All right.
Let's make that movie about.
I got a couple phone calls in to the Disney guys.
Misa ready. Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of Misa ready,
thanks for doing the accent.
Joe, the guy we're going to talk to is sort of like a Gungan.
Yeah, probably the second biggest Star Wars fan that I know. Should probably ask him a ton of questions about it.
All right.
We're going to be talking to Joey Pepper, who is on staff, director of ministry at our Chicago Cathedral Campus.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to jump into his story, talk a little bit about that because we believe everyone has a story. And you guys are going to get into his right now. Let's go. May the Force be with you.
So I'm sitting across from Joey Pepper. Joey, it's Joseph, right?
Officially, yeah. Only when I'm in trouble, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because when you first came onto the staff here at Harvest, one of the first things that I learned was that your name was, like I said, I met Joey, and they said Joseph. So maybe you had already gotten offside.
Well, maybe. But if I have to pay taxes, it's Joseph.
Oh, okay.
And then if I order coffee, since I mumble from time to time, if I add Joey, sometimes I get called Jerry.
Oh, okay.
Gerald.
So you go Joseph.
So I go Joe.
Ooh.
I know. I switch it up on him.
Wow.
Yeah. One person was so offended by that because I had gone by Joe for so long and I got to know them. And then I met with someone that I knew and they were calling me Joey. And they were so offended that
they were like, why did you call me yourself Joe? Am I not your friend?
They've been writing the wrong name on the coffee cup for a year.
Wow.
Yeah. Offended them.
Are you from Chicagoland?
I am. That's it. Well, it's a loaded question. So I've moved a lot, but I grew up in Elgin.
Okay.
So kind of Chicagoland, but then I've lived in all of this.
Well, so why wouldn't that be considered Chicagoland? Isn't that the edge of Chicagoland?
Well, yeah.
Elgin?
But then I've also lived in 6 other states.
All right. Which ones?
So I've lived in Illinois twice now because I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've lived in
Is this
Texas.
in order, by the way? You were born in Illinois? In Illinois?
I'll go in order.
Okay.
Born in Illinois. Graduated high school. Moved to Florida.
Okay.
And then lived in Florida for a few years. Lived in Texas.
Okay.
So you're familiar with the Dallas area.
I am.
I was over there. And then I moved to the Denver area, so Colorado. And then I moved to Nashville, so Tennessee. And then I moved back to Illinois.
All right, let's take this in order.
Yeah.
Why were you in Illinois originally? Your family is from here? Or did your parents have jobs here? Or is it this has been this is where your family's from, like generations.
Yeah, this is my dad has been here. Well, he's not here anymore, but he was here for like 50 years.
Oh, wow.
So he did most of his life here. And then my mom grew up in Florida. And
Okay.
then they met. They were doing long distance for a while. And then when they got married, they moved up here to be together. And so then
Because he was from here.
he was from here.
Okay. What was his job?
He was a business guy. So he's had a lot of businesses growing up.
Okay.
And he specialized in like the car industry. So like selling cars, limos, all the things.
Selling limos?
Mm-hmm. He built limos actually.
How many limos have you ridden in?
Well, I started washing limos when I was 4.
Okay.
You want to know the most embarrassing limo I've ever ridden in?
Sure.
Okay, so I was like 5 or 6, going to elementary school. And you know, when you're in elementary school, you can't do anything that's too embarrassing. And so he built for a friend in New Zealand actually, a hot pink Hummer limo.
Hummer limo.
Hummer limo. It had lights on the bottom that would flash up.
Nice.
And it had a jukebox that would
Yeah, they don't have those in New Zealand, just so you know.
Well,
They do now.
One guy did. Yeah, they do now. And I was going to elementary school in a hot pink Hummer limo, and I've never been more embarrassed in my life.
Why? That's great.
I was too shy. I don't know.
I imagine most elementary kids, they don't love that. It's when you get a little older that you're like, okay, that was a special opportunity for you.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, if I had a hot pink Hummer limo now.
So were you delivered places in limos when your parents were, when you were young? Were you your family just like your dad? Hey, let's go get some Culvers, and you would take the limo.
Not always.
This is like a dream for a lot of kids in the world. Like, what if I had a limo?
But this is like pre-Uber days. So so he would take people to like the airport.
Oh.
And stuff like that.
So it was a company that he owned that ran limos.
Yes, and like party buses and all of the things.
Party buses.
But when I was 16, I started driving the limos.
Really?
'Cause I could clean them. Yeah.
Did you have wear a suit and a tie like you looked like you were from Men in Black or whatever that movie is?
Yeah. Well, I was never like a homecoming guy. Like I didn't go to any of the school dances.
Okay.
But I did chauffeur people to school dances. So I would wear the suit, and I had like the security earpiece. And like me and a buddy would drive them in a limo to prom or homecoming.
So what's funny is that there was a very short period where I was I was married, and I went to we were in New Zealand, and I was teaching, and we came back to the United States, and I was looking for work. Okay. It ended up being 9 months long, and we moved back to New Zealand. But in those 9 months, I was working for a car rental agency. And I had a friend who had said to me, man, you shouldn't do this car rental thing. It's stupid. You should drive a limo.
Did you drive?
And
a limo?
No. Because I thought, you know what? It's too much of a hassle to change jobs right now because we're going to be leaving soon anyway. I didn't do it. But in retrospect, I think to myself, I absolutely should have done that. That would have been way, way more fun. Because, right, you basically just, you drive around, you drop people off, and you pick them up but they're really excited. Usually it's their most special moment, but my problem is they'd all be getting drunk and doing dumb things.
Yeah. Well, you would look really good in the limo hat, though.
You had to wear a little hat.
Well, you don't have to. You get to.
Oh,
it's a privilege of driving a limo.
That's great.
Yeah.
Craziest thing that's happened when you were driving a limo?
So I wasn't allowed to for a while because you know those like yellow cylinder things that are in front of McDonald's drive-thrus?
Yeah.
So they had that in front of where I would wash the limos growing up as a kid.
Uh-huh.
And I got too prideful and thought that I could do it really well. So I took the limo myself and scraped the entire side of the limo.
Oh.
Yeah. With the yellow pole. So that was crazy.
Your dad wasn't thrilled with that.
He wasn't thrilled. Yeah.
No.
But I learned humility and honesty in that moment. And
did you go and tell him? You had one. Of course you had to tell him.
To.
You could have blamed. There was a yellow Prius that went. No.
Yeah. No.
All right. That's good. You have family members.
Yeah.
What sisters, brothers, what?
So I have a blended family.
Okay.
So I have 5 older half siblings.
Okay.
2 older brothers, 3 older sisters.
Okay. So give me you're the baby.
I am the baby. The
All right.
favorite, of course.
Yeah. How far behind are you from everybody else?
My oldest brother and I have like a 20-year plus age difference. And then the next closest, I have twin sisters. They're 5 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they live all over the place, or do they live locally here?
They live all over. My family and I aren't super close.
Okay.
So honestly, if you ask me where they all live, I don't even know.
Okay.
Yeah. But my oldest brother passed away like
sorry.
10 years ago. That's how I came to know the Lord. There's a whole story there.
Yeah.
But yeah, my parents live in Tennessee, and then I have one brother who lives in Illinois, and then the rest live in different states.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how old were you when we'll get to that. You moved to Florida
I did.
after you graduated from high school.
I did.
What high school did you go to?
So I actually went to HCA.
Really?
I did. I'm an HCA.
You're a local.
I'm a local.
So did you go when it's no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't been. It started 20 years ago, and so you're quite young.
I'm quite young.
But you would have been pretty early on. Did you go for the whole time? Is that your whole schooling or?
No, I started my sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
But I was part of starting the baseball team. So I started something at Harvest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I went for the last 3 years, and then I ended up playing golf for a semester at Judson University, which is in Elgin.
Okay.
So fun fact, my parents, when I was starting my senior year, my dad sold his businesses and was like, I'm going to retire. So they moved to Florida. So they left me to do my senior year like by myself, which was, I don't know why any parent would let their 17-year-old kid do that.
Yeah.
But me and my best friend lived in like this townhouse together.
You sure you just didn't live here in the raw space here at the church?
I mean, I was there a lot. You
could have just, seriously, there are people living there now. I don't know who they are.
Yeah. I mean, I could sleep in the baptism if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And nobody would say anything.
No.
It's heated, hot tub. But yes.
You lived in a townhouse?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
How, for all year, just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
17 years old.
Yep.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. One of the craziest things that we did, we love Panda Express. I don't know how you feel about Panda Express, but
it's okay.
Well, we had a passion for it. And so we decided to ask the question, how many times in a row could we eat Panda Express?
Okay. That's a quick way to heart disease.
Yeah. 3 meals a day for 5 days. That's the answer. That's how much you can eat.
When you say 3 meals, are you eating breakfast at Panda Express?
Oh,
what
yeah.
exactly do you have for breakfast at Panda Express?
I mean, for a full week, we ate nothing but white rice and orange chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was in China once, and I remember waking up. We were staying with these lovely people, great, cool ministry and stuff they were doing there.
Yeah.
But we woke up and in front of me was white rice with some fish.
Wow. Like the full fish? Eyes and head included?
Everything.
Wow.
For like at like 7 a.m. And I just realized in that moment, I don't think I can do it. But then, you're in the situation where you feel really awkward. So, it wasn't the first time, it won't be the last time where I said, Lord, I'm putting it down. You're going to keep it down.
Wow.
So I did. I ate it. But I can't imagine having rice I can't imagine especially having fish or Chinese food for breakfast.
Some people don't consider Panda Express to be like genuine Chinese food, though.
Okay. So, well, still.
I mean, I do, but some people don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after which one of you decided that you were going to call off the train? So the Panda Express train.
We both did. We would just buy the family feast together, the family meals, and we would share that. And then eventually we were like,
can't do it.
Yeah, we just can't do it.
All right.
He had a girlfriend at the time, and she was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, like, we're trying to kill ourselves.
It took a third party for us to stop eating.
It was an intervention.
Yeah, it was.
So, why did you go to Judson for the first little bit of your college?
Yeah, so I was offered a golf scholarship.
Oh yeah,
I played on HCA's golf team. So I went for a semester, and as I said, my parents moved to Florida before that.
Did you think that you were going to be a really good golfer? I mean, was that kind of at some point in your life? Did you think, yeah, you know what? If I gave every minute of this, I could probably be really good.
I was a sports guy growing up. Just by nature, I gave every minute to sports anyways, regardless of where it took me. So I was actually going to play baseball.
That was your first dream?
That was my first dream.
Okay. What position were you going to play in baseball?
I was a catcher
my
whole life. And I was kind of utility. I played hockey too.
Yeah.
So just kind of utility of whatever I did. And I thought I would honestly play baseball. And then I don't know. My parents moved. I had a great commuting situation at Judson. I liked being involved in church. And but then my parents moved to Florida. And if you've ever been a 17, 18-year-old boy and you've grown up in Illinois.
I have been, yeah.
Yeah, but then you go to Florida, it's like way better. So like Illinois is
You
terrible.
don't need to be 17 or 18 to know that.
Well, yeah, but
I'm
especially when you're 17 or 18.
Yeah, you go down this warm and, shorts every day.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also have Panda Express. That's how
Yeah,
I judged
totally. They have a lot of
at the time.
things down
Yeah.
there. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I was like, what am I doing here? Like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
So then I transferred
Two?
to Palm Beach Atlantic University
Oh, yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah.
And I was there for 2
So
whole
is
weeks.
it at the Palm Beaches that you lived? Is that what they call them, the Palm Beaches? Like West Palm?
yeah.
And, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yep, where Trump has like his yacht and Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, no, I've been to that area.
It's beautiful. So I was in school there for 2 whole weeks. And then I ended up getting hired on as a construction project manager. So I dropped out of college for a while. And that took me about 1.5 years. And then my story after that just ramps up and gets pretty crazy. But that's how I ended up in
Well, that's why
Florida.
we're here to talk about it.
Yeah.
So at what point in this, up to this point, you said that you were involved in a church when you were in, obviously you were at HCA and stuff. So did you come to faith in Christ prior to that, or were you just going to the school, or?
Yeah, I came to faith in Christ the summer in between freshman and sophomore year.
Okay.
So when my brother passed away, that was the day that I came to Christ.
Why, well, tell me about that. You said that it was a story. Go for it. Tell me it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to, winter camp before growing up, but I told you my siblings and I aren't super close. And so I would watch them, live what the world promises. And they would, I found my first alcohol bottle when I was 4 and it was in my Xbox container. And so I watched them and I was like, well, I don't really want to be like them. So I was super disciplined, young sibling energy for sure. Wanted to be the favorite. And, when my brother passed away, it was the first day of my life where none of my discipline mattered. I couldn't save that situation. But because I had this knowledge of who Jesus was, I was like, that's the only solution.
Yeah.
So I actually called my best friend who I ended up sharing the townhouse with. And he kind of walked me through what that looks like to place your faith in Jesus. And so then after that, I transferred to HCA from one of the big public schools in the area. And I sat down in my first Bible class. And they were talking to me about like the syllabus, first day of school, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna go over the Pauline letters and all of these different things, and we're gonna talk about the history of the New Testament church." And I was like, "Who's Pauline?
Yeah,
like, what does that even mean?" And so I walked up to my Bible teacher at the time, and I was like, "Man, I've got straight A's for a long time, but I am going to fail your class. I don't mean to, but I'm just going to." And so he walked me over to one of the pastors on staff at Harvest, and he was like, he is yours, and this kid is yours.
Yeah.
Do with him what you will. And so he was really important in my discipleship trajectory. And so from that point on, I was just kind of on fire for the Lord. And so I spent so many hours at Harvest trying to, getting discipled, understanding what it meant to serve, understanding what it meant to follow Christ. And from then on, I've just been connected to a local church.
You, but you still wanted to be sports. I mean, like, you didn't think to yourself that you were going to be doing something other than sports or work in the sports world, or were you just sort of like your typical 17, 18-year-old kid who was like, you know what, I don't know what I want to do. I'm just going to kind of do the next thing and see what works out.
17, 18, I wanted to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a business guy. When I started like my entrepreneur career when I was 7, and I had a lemonade stand to buy a Darth Vader helmet.
Did you buy it? Did you get enough lemonade stand?
Yeah.
Was it good lemonade, or were the people just giving you money because you were cute?
No, I mean, I would like chase their car if they drove past me.
Doing?
Yeah. So tell me, and you talked about Star Wars.
Yeah.
I actually, all of that was a foreign language to me. I don't know a single thing that you guys talked about for the last 10 minutes.
That's a lie.
Yeah, I've literally never even seen them.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
You haven't seen Star Wars.
No, you called me something in the preamble ramble.
Yeah.
What did you say? I'm like a gherkin?
A gungan.
A gungan? You have no idea what that is.
That's
No
not
clue.
true.
No, it's so true.
No, because I
Yeah.
think you're a big Star Wars guy.
I
think you're just playing it. Don't worry, it's
Nope.
okay. You don't need to.
I also have never seen a DC movie other than Batman.
Okay.
It's the only one I've seen.
You've never watched Star Wars. Are you being honest right now?
I'm so honest. I mean, I watched one of the older ones, but
Well, those are the original ones. Yeah.
but I don't know anything about them. Like, if you're going to ask me to keep up with what the Star Wars,
Does Tommy know this?
I think so.
Okay, this is because I do have serious questions about whether or not Tommy would be more interested in sharing the gospel with you or talking about the Star Wars universe.
You could find a way to do both.
Yeah, I'm sure he's working them together.
This is a fun fact. Everything I know about Star Wars has come from Tommy.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure once he found out that you didn't know anything about it, he was like, all right, we're going to have to address this.
Tommy was actually my youth pastor.
Was he?
In high school. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
You were at you were at Judson for a little bit, and you just decided that you were going to leave because of the weather, and you just were like, golf's not doing it.
Yeah.
And so you moved down to Florida, and how long were you there?
I was in West Palm Beach for about 2 years.
And that most of that was being spent doing construction.
Construction.
What kind of construction stuff did you do?
I was a residential project manager. So thank the Lord I never swung a hammer.
What?
Because I don't know anything about construction, Jeff.
Nothing.
If you asked me to hang drywall,
so how did you get
now,
a job in construction?
Okay, so my last name's Pepper.
Oh,
and when I transferred,
yes, that's right, because the Pepper.
Yeah, there's a story here. When I transferred, there was a senior career fair. Now I'm 18. I'm not a senior. I'm a freshman. So I transfer down, and I go to the senior career fair anyways, and I'm wearing a pepper tie, like a tie with peppers all over it. Mm. And this guy really liked it, and then we just started talking. And when he offered me the job is when he found out I'm not a senior. And that's when I found out it wasn't just a normal career fair. And so at that point, he had already offered me the job. So I just dropped down and took it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you related to the Pepper construction people?
No, but I wish. My dad actually knows them, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They live, apparently, I found out that one of lives near me somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Somewhere.
When I moved back, I saw I live right next to a Pepper construction building.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And I didn't even know.
Maybe this is going to be a story, though, of like you're the long lost nephew.
Maybe.
And they're going to call you sometime soon because
if you're out here and you listen to this podcast and
because of the will. So after, like, when did you decide? Was ministry something that you just never thought that you'd be doing, or was it something you did think? At what point did that change? Were you constructioning and thinking to yourself, "No, I could do this for a long time"?
Yeah, well, it caught up to me relatively quickly, the fact that I don't know anything about construction. And so that, when I was in West Palm Beach, I got really into line dancing as my hobby.
Okay, so like boot, scoot, and boogie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would go.
I had a friend, by the way, years ago, when I was working at a Christian camp, and he was so into the boot, scoot, and boogie.
Oh, did he teach you how to do it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. We rode in a car together for 6 hours to see this. It was my girlfriend at the time. She's my wife now, but he lived near where she was living at the time. And so he had a car, and the whole time he basically told me about line dancing and about trucking.
Wow.
So I know a little bit about the line dancing.
What do the two have to do with each other?
He was all, yeah. He was very bothered by the fact that I would call it like a semi truck, you know?
Yeah.
Because he said
is that not what it is?
No, it's tractor trailer combination.
Well,
I was told that was the case. And every time I would make the mistake, he would always make sure to clarify it with me. There was a lot of things I learned that day.
He sounds like a guy who'd go line dancing.
Regarding line dancing.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in line dancing? Did a friend take you and you're just like, this is amazing?
Yeah. So in the 2 weeks, I had a college roommate. And so the college roommate took me once. And then I fell in love with it. I was super shy at that point in my life. Would not talk to new people at all. And so I just loved being in the environment and watching people make a fool of themselves. So at first I just kind of stood off and
that's what I'd do. I'd be watching at a distance.
Oh,
Although
yeah.
I will tell you, of all the dancing, line dancing or square dancing seems the most reasonable to me because there are moves that they tell you to do. So you don't look like you have to make it up. You know what I mean?
And if you're just facing the right direction, like nobody else cares, you're going to be fine.
Okay.
But anyway, so I was doing that like 3 nights a week and doing construction, which was a crazy job.
Did you and your friends go out line dancing, or were you showing up by yourself to the line dancing?
Well, at a certain point, I became a regular and I knew everyone there.
Okay. So they were your friends.
So they were my friends.
Was it at a bar or a line dancing school?
No, it was a bar. There was it's Florida. So there's a big honky tonk there that people would go to. And
Honky Tonk is the line. I'm sorry. I'm a total northerner.
Well, it's a place that you can go line dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a bar that sounds cool.
Okay.
And so, West Palm Beach doesn't have the best church community, or at least not that I found. And so I went from, having a ton of community to not really having any, to being in a job that I really didn't love or fully understand. And I'm still not even 20 yet. And so getting involved in the bar scene was pretty interesting to me in terms of like the decisions that people made. Yeah. And so about a year and a half down the line, I just woke up and I was like, what am I doing? Like, this isn't my life. Like, I don't like my job and I don't like my hobbies and I'm not plugged into a church. Why am I doing this? And so ministry kind of came into the picture there when I just started talking to people from Harvest. And I was like, okay, I got to go back to school, get involved in a local church. And so I moved cities in Florida, closer to Orlando. Wonderful world of Disney and Universal and all the things. And I went to University of Central Florida.
Which is like one of the biggest universities anywhere.
Yeah. But I went online, so I've never stepped foot on the campus that I graduated from.
Okay.
But while I was doing that,
what was your degree in?
It was in political science.
Why?
So here's my thought process back then, because I didn't really know what political science was when I chose it.
Yeah, this is becoming a pattern in your life.
Yeah,
you just pick stuff that you don't know anything about.
No, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's the fun part of life.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm adventurous. But I was going into ministry, so I got a job at a youth ministry at a church that I was working at. So I was going to school full time and I was working full time. And I have a heart for church planting. And so I was like, well, church is half a business. Like, I should probably know how to run the business part of church and then also the pastoral part of church. So political science is a lot of that. It's a lot of policy. It's a lot of analysis and data and all the stuff that I hate. But I wanted to learn how to do it. So I went to school for that and I was working full time. And then when I graduated, there was a church in Texas that was hiring for a high school pastor. And so that's when I moved out to Fort Worth and I started seminary and all the stuff.
So the seminary in Fort Worth that I know of is Southwestern Baptist. Is that where you went?
That is where I went.
Okay.
For a year and a half. I was at Southwestern.
Okay. And were you living in Fort Worth?
I was. Yeah.
Where?
Fort Worth downtown. And then I worked in Aledo. Are you familiar with Aledo?
No. I don't know as much about Fort Worth as I do about Dallas because I lived in Dallas, but my son lives kind of between them now, kind of the southern edge between them. But the thing I do know is that Texas Christian University is in Fort Worth, and it's very expensive. It's quite a very nice campus and nice all that kind of stuff. And the stockyards are there.
Yeah. Have you been to the stockyards?
Yes, I was just there. I was at the stockyards actually a few months ago.
Did they do like the cows?
No, but I ate at Risky's Barbecue.
It's a good place.
Which is a famous barbecue place. Yeah.
Have you ever been to a high school football game in Texas?
Yes, I have. Actually, very crazy stories about high school football games in Texas. But the one that I attended was actually a playoff game between DeSoto, which is a good team in the kind of middle South Dallas, and what's the name of the so DeSoto is a very African-American community, and the other one is South Lake Carroll, which is a very white area. And so we went into we just were going to the game because we were like, oh, we got to go to a Texas football game when I was visiting with some friends. And we walked in and we asked the first person we came to, it was like $10 ticket or whatever. It's a playoff game.
Right.
And we said, where do we sit? And the guy goes, well, yeah, you just sit on this side. Okay. And I was like, it's cold. So we didn't want to walk to the other side of the thing. So we went up and we sat down and we learned very quickly that we were on the DeSoto side. And it was me, my African friend, and like 4 other white guys. And they adopted us.
Did they?
As their own. And they were wonderful. We had so much fun at that day. They were sharing their little, because they had brought all this cardboard. So it was because the benches were cold, and they let us sit on top of their cardboard. And then because we didn't have any reason not to make fools of ourselves, we were leading cheers. and doing all sorts of stuff. And it was absolutely wonderful. These lovely old African American women were sitting next to me. That's my son out there in the whatever. And so we were cheering for their team. We won.
Did you?
Our team did. Yeah.
Wow.
Which we were thrilled at. And they were giving us, like, I still have it, the towel. It says DeSoto on it and stuff. And we actually went back to Canada because we were from Canada. Everybody thought we were it was like we were Martians. But they loved the fact that because we got there so early, we had like the best seats kind of in the 50-yard line right down on the front. So all of the families and stuff were around us. So I loved it, but it was enormous. I've never seen it. Southwick Carroll had like 450 kids on the field for halftime.
Yep.
They had people doing breakdancing and like throwing the baton, and then the band was going, and then they had a bunch of girls with flags. And honestly, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Did you stay for the band's halftime show?
Yes.
Did they have
we were the whole time.
setup?
Yeah. And then when they come out, they all run through some massive blow up tiger or something. I mean, huge. I've never seen anything like it. I would love to go again.
Yeah. So I worked in Aledo, and they are 5A football champions.
Okay.
Like 12 years in a row. And so when I was there, that's like the one high school we would do ministry at. So the student section adopted me, and I would like be in the middle with like all the students, and like they would want to paint my face and do all the crazy things. But the biggest concern that I had to talk people down from was band.
Really?
Like get this. Okay. So band summer camp for football season, every day, they were walking for 4.5 hours. Wow. Like
just to play in the band?
Like holding and playing.
Sherri's sitting over here, she's nodding. Is that an Ohio thing too? They don't do that in Ohio.
No, it's crazy. Band camp is nuts. I've never seen anything like band camp. Like, you think the football is impressive? No. Band is where it's at, for sure. Shout out to Texas bands.
They're all trying to join Ohio State so they can dot the I.
Yeah.
That's a thing, right? Okay. Apparently I can't.
I don't know anything about Ohio State.
The Ohio State is what I've been told.
It is copyrighted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they only have one college, so they have to call it that. So you were youth pastor for how many years, or how long?
5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you stop doing it?
Well, that's a good question. You can only get pied in the face so many times. But I love student ministry, and I think students will always have a soft spot in my heart. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I have a huge passion for just pastoral ministry in general. Mm-hmm. And so part of that was church planting. And I was in Colorado. I was doing student ministry in Colorado. And I was connected. My parents had moved to Tennessee at that point, and was connected to a church in Nashville who had this church planting short-term residency position where you can kind of learn from church multiplication people. They were in the process of planting a church and wanted someone to come help with that team. And I said, man, what other time in my life am I going to have to do that opportunity? Mm-hmm. So I left student ministry to go try church planting for a little bit. And then when that was...
Did you like it?
It was tough.
Yeah, it was hard.
But Nashville's just a fun city.
Yeah.
So I had
Did you live in Nashville or in one of the suburbs?
I lived in Nashville, but I worked in Brentwood, if you're familiar.
No, I'm not. If you'd said Franklin, I would have said something, but that's the only spot that I know. I have a friend who lives near there, and we've visited some churches down there.
Brentwood is it's similar to like the Barrington of Illinois.
So really cool.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, I understand. Barrington.
Yeah, or St. Charles.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. And so when that was coming to an end, I finished seminary.
So it has an end date to it, internships or that kind of residency type thing.
Yeah, it did. And so I finished seminary there, and was looking, for my next long-term pastoral ministry career in adult ministry. And I was chatting with a friend about Harvest, and I saw the posting, and that's how I ended up at Harvest.
Which is sort of a return home for you.
It
Did you ever think that you'd be back in this part of the world?
I've been here for a month and a half, and it's still not real to me that I'm back in Illinois. My parents still don't believe that I actually moved here.
Oh.
Yeah, so no, it was never.
Why don't your parents? Because it's not, the weather and stuff is not like to your liking, or?
Yeah, it's Illinois, I've lived in states that have much better things to offer
Yeah.
than Illinois.
Yeah, but they don't have this podcast.
Right. I
So-
would never become as famous as I'm about to on this podcast. But no, so it really was the Lord leading me back to harvest.
Yeah.
I would love to be a part of, where the Lord is restoring and redeeming a lot of things. And the cathedral is just an exciting place to be.
Yeah, so do you live downtown?
I do. I actually don't even have a car.
Nice.
I'm full-blown city boy now.
That's great.
I know.
It's nice not to have. I mean, I'll be honest. There have been a few times in my life where I don't. The only time I really drive a car is during the winter months right now because it's so cold.
Well,
but I try to ride my bike and scooter and the other times of the year, and it's like, it's honestly one of the most freeing things to know that you don't have to buy gas. You don't have to. It's great.
Are you one of those guys who would ride your bike from Rolling Meadows to Chicago?
Yeah,
like the 20-mile trek.
Yeah, I've ridden from Barrington to Chicago.
Oh,
yeah, big time.
Wow.
Yeah, and I love the train. I honestly like the whole vibe over around public transport. As soon as I get in the city, I'm like, let's take the CTA. Love the bus. Love all that kind of stuff. Do you like where you live?
I do. I'll say I hated snow until I didn't have to drive in it.
Now it's beautiful when you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to deal with it. It's amazing.
No, it's amazing. Everybody that goes to the cathedral lives kind of similar to there, and so it's very convenient.
Yeah,
yeah.
So this is your first kind of urban living.
I mean, Nashville was technically urban living. Yeah. Definitely first like big city.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's kind of exhilarating though.
It is.
There's different people all over the place. It's a different kind of life. Yeah.
I'm that weirdo that talks to random people.
Well, there's not a lot of them in Chicago.
No, there's
I don't
not.
think. Yeah?
Everybody's just headphones in. Yeah. But watch out, I'm coming.
What's your favorite thing about living in the city, or for your first couple months of being?
Yeah, I'm on a mission, and I'm taking recommendations too. I'm trying to find the best coffee shop in Chicago, and there's hundreds.
Yeah, I'm your guy. No, I have no idea.
Okay, well, if
I can tell you the best pizza I've had in Chicagoland because that's a thing.
Wait.
Dude, I have heart disease because I came to Chicago and started to eat pizza.
Well, try Panda Express for 5 days. No, be better.
But Pequod's is my new go-to spot. Have you heard of Pequod's? Is partly because I'm very skeptical if you have a nice shop. Like if you're like selling pizza and you got like a nice shop and there's more than one of your pizza places around, I'm a little like, I don't know. So people are Lou Malnati's, and that's all good. Okay, it's great stuff to some degree, but it's not the best stuff.
Are you a deep dish guy?
Listen, I'm open to all kinds of pizzas.
That's fair.
So Pequod's is in a house, basically, in the middle of a neighborhood, and they sell the best deep dish pizza I've ever had.
Wow,
and
that's a bold statement.
Their thin crust not quite as strong. But the deep dish pizza, I have come to realize that if anyone comes to Chicago now, I'm going to take them to Pequod's because everything about it feels like Chicago to me. It's kind of grungy.
How do you feel about
a little bit gritty?
I feel like Portillo's to me is that. Portillo's is Chicago.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
There is.
But highly recommend the Pequod's. You should go, but it's up near Evanston. So, but you were looking for the best coffee shop. What's the best one so far? Like if I came down and we went to coffee, what would be the best thing? What's your top right now?
Top one right now is Third. It's in Bucktown.
Okay.
I also really like, there's a Fairgrounds, which is a chain. I'm usually not a fan of chains.
But it was good.
It's spacious.
All right. Are you like a coffee snob? Do you like?
Well, I thought I was. And then I moved to the cathedral location where every single person there is an actual coffee snob. And I realized that I'm not as big of a coffee snob as I thought.
Yeah, well.
But I'm trying to be.
They're a bunch of addicts.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. And it's fueling my habit of drinking coffee. But you're a Mountain Dew guy.
Yeah, listen, I'm a not coffee guy.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So you're not married.
I'm not.
And you're not dating.
I'm not.
So I said that out loud on the podcast because
listen,
we just want to broadcast it a little bit, make sure that people know.
I've done ministry in Texas, and let me tell you, there's nothing I haven't seen that Texas moms have not already tried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that I learned the other day that at a workplace you're not allowed to ask people or say stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I said it.
So now do I?
I said it
grounds,
publicly.
Do I have grounds to go to HR?
Oh, you totally should go to HR. You'd be doing me a favor. Get rid of me, man. I can move to Florida. Just kidding.
The beaches are nice.
Yeah. All right. So it's really great to have you here. Thank you so much for spending time talking to me for a little bit. It's great to have you down at the cathedral. It's a blessing to see you develop. You're a young man. How old are you?
25.
25.
You know, you're not allowed to ask that question in an interview.
What?
Either.
I'm not not interviewing for a job.
Oh no, I'm just saying. We were talking about the dating thing.
Are you not allowed to ask somebody their age if you interview them for a job?
Yeah.
But they have to submit like a resume, and you find out. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I have broken a lot of rules.
I know you asked me both of those in my interview too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably should not interview people ever again. Well, for a job anyway. Well, I'm really excited that you're having a chance to live down there and do that. My wife and I, when we first came here, we have a daughter and she goes to the school here at the church. But if she wasn't doing that, we thought pretty seriously about living in the city because we lived in the downtown Dallas area for a while. Really loved it. We've lived in rural areas and semi-rural and suburban and ex-urban. We've lived in all the different kinds of spots, but we really liked the urban piece for a bit.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun not to have a car. It's fun to have everything kind of within. The thing about cities is that they become little neighborhoods for you.
For sure.
You know what I mean? In some weird way, they actually become almost a little more close-knit than a suburban area because you can't travel so broadly and you don't want to walk forever to go to a thing. Right. You kind of have a 20-minute walking distance around your house. And so everybody else is the same. So everyone kind of sees each other. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
And it starts feeling a little bit like a high school.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see the same people all the time and pass them on the road. And then eventually you nod and eventually get a conversation and stuff like that. So I think it's really great that you're down there. The cathedral is a great, great campus. It's pretty great to have you.
Yeah.
All right, though, before you go, I am going to ask you some rapid fire sports questions because you're just a sports guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Best golfer ever?
Ooh.
It's rapid fire, so you have to answer.
Okay, I'm sorry. Tiger Woods.
Not really? Okay.
I don't know many golfers.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. What's the best golf tournament you've ever been to? Have you ever been to one?
No.
Okay.
I've played in many.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best score you've ever had in golf?
70.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an official score. I was just playing.
Much better than me. What would you like to do on a Saturday if you had just anything to do? What would be the perfect day?
Very long run, and then go sit in a coffee shop. That's it.
How long a run?
Depends on how the weather
Have
is.
you run
on a nice day? On a nice day, give me like 10 miles.
Okay. Are you ever going to run a marathon?
I want to.
Chicago Marathon.
Yeah,
they do that down there, like at the cathedral. A lot of people down there, they like that. They like to kill themselves for some reason. Yeah. You should talk to Tommy about it beforehand, though, because he didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
he ran it, but he decided that he didn't like it. And Jeff Thompson runs a lot of them.
Well, he said he's retired.
Yeah.
So I'm making it my mission to retire him, and he's going to run it with me.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'll bring like my e-bike with you guys, and I'll ride next to you.
If you want to train with me, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of these days I'll ride my bike in, and you can run back to Barrington with me. What's your favorite football team?
The Chicago Bears. I'm a loyal fan.
Okay. Baseball team.
The White Sox.
Really?
I have terrible taste in teams.
Okay, so a bunch of losers so far.
Hey.
Like
yeah.
Some of the worst losers there are around right now.
$3 tickets though to get in a White Sox game. I'm the winner here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a hockey game? You like hockey team?
I do.
Blackhawks.
Yeah.
All right. So all Chicago.
All Chicago.
Okay. In Texas, you didn't like the Cowboys. You didn't take up the Rangers or
no. I stayed loyal.
All right. What's the best college? If you were going to watch a college sports, is there a university that you would say that's the team? That's the team that I follow.
Texas A&M.
What are you doing?
I had to.
What are you doing?
It was for the church in Texas.
No, they're the weirdest people.
They indoctrinated me. I know.
No, they're really weird.
I know,
dude.
but I know a yell leader, so I'm pretty much in.
Okay, but that's my thing. The yell eaters are the weirdest people on the planet. For those of you who are listening right now, if you have YouTube, just YouTube, go to YouTube and do a Texas A&M yell leader, and you can watch what these people do. They are the most bizarre, honestly.
They are the most popular people on campus.
Well, you can say that.
Yeah. I wish I was a yell leader.
But the fact that they are the most popular people on the campus is a sign that it's a cult.
Nobody's denying that. Yeah. The rings is really what gets it.
Well, all right. A&M's kind of a letdown, though. Just want to let you know that they're kind of perpetually not there.
As are most of the teams that I root for.
Yeah, that's right. Would you cheer for Texas for any reason?
No.
For anything? Nothing at all?
Never.
Okay, never UT.
Never UT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Joey, there's more to ask, but beforehand, we're going to get you on record right now. The Ohio State University is going to be playing in the college football final against I can't even remember who.
I didn't even know the Ohio State was playing.
Notre Dame.
Oh.
Okay, so it's Jesus' team versus Notre Dame. Just kidding. Just kidding. What are we doing here? Who do you got?
I'm going Ohio State.
All right. For those of you who are listening right now, either he is right about that, and you will think, "Wow, he's a sharp guy," or you're going to tell him, "You know what? Don't ever go against the Irish."
That's true.
All right. Well, it's good to talk to you, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Talk to the rest of you next time.